Hi, my name is Tyler. I'm from Tunku Putra Help School. We are currently in year 11, and this is a project for our class called Global Perspectives. Our topic is about period poverty, and do you like the main topic is women in low income and rural areas as accessibility to feminine hygiene products. So, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so hi, my name is Kim Tan. I am the Vice President of Sarawak Women for Women's Society. In 2021, I actually headed a campaign for period poverty as well. And during that period of time, we've actually distributed over 80,000 pads all over Sarawak. Yeah. So I think it's really nice for you guys to come in and cover about this topic as well, because there is still a huge need of pads around the state. Yeah. I think period poverty is a huge umbrella term for everything. You're talking about accessibility of products to menstrual health, awareness and education, and just just erasing the taboo of period itself as a topic in our community. Yes. It would definitely be economic. Yeah, because when you talk about rural areas, right, I think you have to understand as well that logistically, people have to bring the products in further, and with period like menstrual health products, they're already so expensive. So when you add on the logistics cost for it, it's going to be even more. And rural areas, they don't have the economic background to support what they actually need. Yeah. Okay, so there is a two-part question to this, right? And I wanted to address, yes, there is taboo with this topic, especially period and women's health in general. It is a topic, it is a taboo, but it does not make it inaccessible in terms of the product. It still comes down to prices, especially in rural areas, because you're addressing on rural areas, right? And I think I want to take this opportunity to highlight that even in urban areas, with technology, with everything that we have, resources, I still think the topic is taboo to city people, right? City folk. Because do you talk about it openly to your male friends? Do you have this kind of discussions over your lunch or your recess break? I don't think the topic is spoken about enough. So yes, I believe it is still taboo, especially in rural areas, but it is not the cause for why it's inaccessible in
Rural.
yeah, rural areas. Ooh, okay, so I like this question because I like this question because you talk about proper hygiene. Who knows what proper hygiene is, right? Is there enough education on this? Because I remember when I was in secondary school, we learned about reproductive organs, but did they tell us how to keep ourselves clean that way? You know, I had to learn a lot later in my adulthood that they have all these markets on in the market, they have all these products in the market for like vaginal health, but it's actually not healthy. And the whole science behind marketing and preying on women and their insecurities, smell good to a man, blah 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 blah, keep yourself, you know, like, so that I think that there is still a lot to learn. And because there is no proper education on this is how commercialization and consumerism is able to target on women. So when you talk about proper hygiene, what is actually proper hygiene? But okay, I've digressed, so let me come back to the topic. If a woman of low income rural areas cannot afford enough sanitary products, what would they do? So I think we've heard cases where these women, they use scrap clothing or scrap newspaper to replace sanitary products. And this is dangerous because if they actually don't know about proper hygiene, then this may lead to infection. Even if they do have access to sanitary products, sometimes they end up using these period pads for days, which is also not healthy because you're meant to change it throughout the course of the day. So that also leads to menstrual hygiene that is not taken care of. Yes, so that's my answer. Yes, I believe that period poverty is deeply interconnected with other social problems, both in Sarawak and globally. I think it's not just about the lack of access to the products itself, but you have to understand that it is a whole, it covers a broader range of things like gender inequality, like poverty on a wide scale range, not just period poverty, but poverty itself, the cycle of poverty, and the inadequate health education that we have in our curriculum. So here's how I think it contributes to wider social issues. Number one, it would be the education disruptions. So in many communities, girls miss school because they lack menstrual products or proper facilities. So we see a lot of, there's actually data about girls dropping out of school, or not dropping out of schools, but missing schools because they are in pain or they just don't have the products to use so that they can cover themselves in school efficiently. So over time, this can lead to them being left behind in their education and also probably in dropout rates. And this will obviously then cause, the cycle of poverty because you somehow need education to rise in social standings today, right? Yeah. So, and then the other one is health risks. So without access to hygienic menstrual products, people may resort to unsafe alternatives. So actually, not just all scraps of clothes and newspapers, right? We've also had knowledge of women using coconut husks. Yeah. So for them, with the lack of access to menstrual products, you are trying to find things that can absorb, and what they can do is they try to be as resourceful as they can. So coconut husk is the way to go. Do we want to use it today? I don't think I want to use it today. Yeah, especially when they don't know if it's treated or not, if it's under the rain, if it's mossy, if it's moldy, all sorts of things, right? Okay, yes. Coming back. The other one is gender inequality. The stigma around menstruation reinforces discrimination, making it harder for people who menstruate to fully participate in society, work, and even family life. I don't know about you, but as a kid in school last time, I had the worst menstrual cramps. I would be sleeping in class, honestly. I would let the teacher know, and I would take a Panadol, and I would just fold myself over in class because I could not function, and like my legs go. And that still happens until today, right? And then because we don't talk about it, or we have so many men in higher positions that we feel that it's awkward to have that conversation with them. But if we do have women in power and position, this is a conversation that we can have more openly and more comfortably. But it's also men's responsibility to come and learn, right? So yes, so this is not this is a lifetime learning process, an issue for all of us. The other one is economic struggles. The cost of menstrual products can be a burden, especially for low-income families, forcing them to choose between basic needs like food and hygiene. So during COVID, the entire world was in lockdown, right? And everyone was giving out food aid. And then because I thought about it, I was like, I was having my period, and I was like, this shit is expensive. I'm like, if people can't afford food right now, and they like pay $50, if you need $50 for groceries for a family, right? How are you gonna pay for menstrual products? Because that can cost easily 20-30 ringgit a month. And so I thought, that's not fair. Just because you're a woman and you're bleeding, you have to choose between this. So this is when the call for donations went out, and we started talking about it, addressing the issue to the public, and that's when everyone came together and like, we want to do something about it, which was great because we had people also in the Semenanjung donating to Sarawak for this cause. Yeah. And lastly is the workplace disadvantages. In places where period poverty exists, women may struggle to attend work due to discomfort or lack of access to sanitation facilities, impacting their income or economic independence. So let's say women feel that, for me, sometimes I feel like my legs don't function at all. I can't even drive to work. So that's like time off work. So that affects your leaves and everything else as well. So it can disrupt your workload and also at the same time, economically and financially, right? Yeah. Yes. In 2018, I was very proud that the Malaysian government removed the pink tax. So there was this thing called pink tax, and it was on period products, period menstrual products, right? But it's still expensive. It is still bloody expensive. So what I think the government can do is subsidize. And if it's not to working class people, subsidize it for the girls in school, you know, where especially in the rural areas like you guys are sharing and wanting to share about, right? Imagine already not having the economic access to a lot of things. Furthermore, period pads are going to be the last thing on their minds. But I want to ask for, if I could, I want to ask for subsidy to menstrual health products. So not just pads and tampons, but also to heating pads and tampons, reusable cups, right? Because that's more green. Yeah, for our green goddesses out there. And also possibly provide tax incentives for local menstrual product manufacturers. So now, I don't know if you see, but there are a lot of brands coming out, very proudly Malaysian-owned brands, like Enya, like this is one that was made out of corn. Fantastic. Malaysian-owned as well, right? So I think the government can provide tax incentives to these local brands, so then it can also help the local brands and our local buyers. Yeah. Yes. Education. So I think right now at the moment, not just about period poverty, but there has been a push for comprehensive sexuality education in our curriculum, and I know there is one. And this topic or this subject itself would cover things like reproductive health, sexual harassment, consent, healthy relationship, and things like period poverty. So yes, there is an ongoing effort by many stakeholders to push for this to be included in the curriculum. So we're still having our fingers crossed as to when it will actually be implemented in our schools. So yes, so education is one. And you were mentioning about what topic, so what was the second part of the question?
How can we as a community help tackle this issue short or long term?
Talk about it. Talk about it to your friends. Talk about it to the boys. You know, make it a norm to talk about it. You know, back in the days when I was in school, I was so embarrassed because periods, we bleed and it overflows, right? And it went onto my school dress, and I was like, I can't walk around like this. So I took my paint tub and I walked to the toilet and I painted my dress. And the teachers knew it, you know, and they didn't want to talk about it, but they let us paint our dress. And I was like, this is not all right, you know. I can't help it that my blood overflows, but why did I have to feel like I had to hide myself, you know? And I was like, and it became a thing for all of us girls, paint your dress. whatever overflows. And I think also back in the days we didn't know like what size was proper, and I don't know about you guys now, but back in the days for us it was just like, oh, use whatever we have, and might not be enough. Didn't know that the first day was going to be like Niagara Falls, like it's going to slowly die down over the next couple of days. So I think it's just normalizing it now, and I know it should not be weird for men to be talking about these topics, and they should also learn, because at the end of the day, the period allows for women to get pregnant, and if that's just the natural cycle of life, right? Yeah. So again?
Do you think women in the rural areas are open to the idea of reusable sanitary products?
Oh, okay. So I believe they are already aware of it, because basically what they're doing with scrap clothes is by taking them and then using them and then washing them, right? So they are aware of reusable items. I think it's just the whole hygiene part, like I mentioned earlier, like how, like if they use scrap clothing, how clean is that scrap clothing? Where did you get it from? What kind of material is it? Or what kind of water are you washing it in? Because if you're washing it in like muddy water with, if a nearby area is doing coal mining or plantation, then the water will be has high content in certain types of minerals that will affect, your cloth. So they're definitely open to it, but at the same time, there's a lot of things surrounding maintaining that product as well, so that it's hygienic enough for them to use without infections happening. Yeah.
So do you personally think that it is a good idea?
I do. If you're able to save money, keep the world green, why not, right? But like I said again and again, there's a lot of education and a lot of awareness that has to happen first. Yeah, like even menstrual cups. Have you guys heard of this? Menstrual cups? Mm-hmm. One size does not fit all. So apparently you're meant to shop it, because they don't hold it properly. Sometimes you get a leakage. So it's also that awareness that, because when we were distributing menstrual cups, period pads during COVID time, a lot of people were like, how can you distribute pads? It's so unethical. You have to go green. But I was like, do you understand that cups are not a one size fit all? You see brands selling them in different sizes because not every woman is the same size. And you have to understand that each cup is not exactly cheap, right? So what if you send them out to women there and then it doesn't fit them and they just toss it out? That's money that could have been spent on 2 or 3 packs of pads that could last them longer. And also with the cups, that if we were to distribute out, do they know how to wash it properly? Do they know how to maintain it? Yeah. So then what is that taboo and stigma about washing your cups? And so it's a whole lot of learning to do. Yeah. And I think that by normalizing conversations in all different age groups and social status and in every circle, I think that would really, really help. Yeah.
So that's about it for the questions. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add on?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Thank you so much.